On today's show,
the facilities are top notch. The field is beautiful. What a nice stadium. They actually redone one of the buildings there for a locker room, and walk in, it's top notch too. Beautiful lockers, nice and spacious. So they are definitely working on those programs.
It is the hot edition of Kansas Sports Chatter. It is hot. Welcome into the statewide high school sports entertainment show, streaming on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. Hot. Across the state. I don't care where you live. Across the state, it's hot. Gosh, it's hot. But see, I've got to pull back because there's only so much you can complain about. Especially I'm a inside air conditioned house for this gig. There's only so much I can complain. When I randomly go out, a few times throughout the day that I can complain, because there's actually guys and gals that are working in this heat and these temperatures and enduring these things and actually having to labor during these or outside in these temperatures. So there's levels. Complaining. I found out over the years, it has levels. Now, the best person who doesn't complain at all, right? That's the best person. But for the rest of us, there's levels to complaining. So for me in this situation about the heat being inside the majority of the day, my level of complaining, it's very small. It's very small level of complaining. Now, there's other people that, actually are out there in the heat, their level is much, much higher. So we got to cut that one out. Hey, big thanks to all of our guests today. It is going to be full with Scott Paske, KSHSAA covered writer. We'll talk about one of his recent articles on Betsy Dutton out of Sterling High School and dynasty that she has built with the speech, debate, theater program at Sterling over decades at Sterling High School. Jamison Kohl, recent graduate of Hesston High School, part of their track and field team for the Swathers, now down in Oklahoma in college, getting ready for his freshman season, talk about his Hesston career. Also, Jason Duvall, the new head coach of the Larned football team, will give us a preview of the Indians and what went into his decision process in choosing Larned and how he is trying to change the culture. And Brian, or a.k.a. Toto, from the Sunflower Smack Show, will have half of that. The Oz is not on the program today, but we got Toto on, and one of the best coverages of high school athletics for girls basketball in the entire state, especially that KC area. Sunflower Smack Show, Toto on it, previewing some of the, not only just the Kansas City area athletes for girls basketball, but across the state as well for the upcoming school season. So a good show in store for us today. Thanks to a few of our sponsors, SPX Video Wall Solutions. They design, deliver, install premium video wall solutions for your indoor environments. And Barton Community College, always enrolling. Check out the website, bartoncccc.edu, and Wheatland Electric, as they're delivering energy to more than 20,000 Kansas homes and businesses. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll hear from Scott Paske with KSHSAA Covered, another one of his great articles. We'll dissect it next.
Power outages don't wait for a convenient time, and neither should you. Right now is the perfect season to invest in a standby generator from Wheatland Electric Cooperative. With low monthly payments and special financing for co-op members, reliable backup power is more affordable than you think. We'll help you survey, install, and finance a Generac standby generator, all with professional installation you can trust. Protect your home, your comfort, and your peace of mind before the next storm hits. Get a free quote today and make life without power a thing of the past. Visit us online or call us to get started today.
Whether it's a Friday night football game or a Saturday Scholars Bowl tournament, there are many people behind the scenes to make these activities function. The Kansas State High School Activities Association and the Student Advisory Team would like to thank all those who make these events happen for our students. Without school administrators, event workers, custodians, officials, transportation personnel, and office staff, these events would not be possible. Your hard work and dedication allow students throughout the state to participate in the activities that they love.
Story time happens once again here on Kansas Sports Chatter as we get to talk with the guys from Acacia Cover. Their work can be found at acaciacover.com, and one of the writers, Scott Paske, on the show today. Scott, how's the summer been going, man? Anything exciting going on?
Oh, it's been going fast, but fast and furious, but slow enough to enjoy it a little bit. Yeah, we're starting to turn our attention to the fall sports already, and it's hard to believe that's the case. But yeah, it's been a good summer though.
You guys are able to kind of divvy up some of those Acacia Hall of Fame inductees in 2026, and you're able to write the article on Betsy Dutton from Sterling High School. And you and I were talking about before we jumped on. I mean, there's a lot of really good dynasties, throughout Acacia. You talk about, whether it's on the field or on the court. But one of the biggest dynasties was in the theater and also in speech and debates at Sterling High School, and Betsy Dutton was a big part of that.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I know we're doing Kansas Sports Chatter, but Betsy's very much kind of has the sports mentality, I think, for coaching that and applied to the performing arts. I mean, she just she's an institution at Sterling High School, and it was fun to do her story and attend her induction ceremony. Acacia's Hall of Fame. There's a Hall of Fame room at Acacia's offices, but it's pretty much a road show when it's time to induct a member. And Acacia Executive Director Bill Faflick was able to come down in late March for Betsy's induction at Sterling High School, which was done in the Betsy Dutton Theater, which tells you a lot about the
Right.
impact that she's had on debate and forensics, and just outstanding lady who was kind of recruited to come in and help Sterling's theater department when she was still a college student at Sterling College, and directed a play when she was a college junior at Sterling, directed Sterling's high school play. And then a couple of years later, after she graduated, just took it from there, teaching speech and theater, and eventually coaching the forensics and debate programs at Sterling, and just wild success.
But she started out just simply like going to school, like for theater, right? Like speech and debate. She wasn't really aware of that until she was asked to do it there at Sterling.
Yeah, she was studying speech in college, but yeah, she had grown up performing. She grew up in Topeka, went to Topeka High, and performed in school theater and community theater there. So that was kind of her fastball, I guess, so to speak. I mean, that was where her specialty lied. But she came in and was able to inherit those programs at Sterling, and got forensics off to a great start. Then they added debate in 1994, and that's kind of I think her strength was really knowing her strengths and weaknesses, so to speak, like any good coach does. With debate, she sought a lot of help. She just happened to have a brother-in-law, Steve Harrell at Tonganoxie, who was a successful debate coach himself, just retired this past year, and really leaned on him, I think, for a lot of advice on how to coach debate and the strategies of it, but also had a lot of assistance. And that was kind of the thing at her induction ceremony. You had about a 4-minute video on her accomplishments, and then she spent her whole induction speech time before the school play that night thanking all the assistants who it was just nonstop thank yous to those who had helped her out, and kind of deflecting that praise or whatever, which is another great, just a great characteristic of a really good coach.
One of the things I liked in your article, like coaches for sports, you talk about the hours that she and, other, instructors like that have to put in. And I think you illustrated that nicely. Just, the amount of time, not only during the typical 8 to 5 or 8 to 3, for school days, but, the amount of evening hours too that she put in.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing she talked about with me, just, at a big school, there's a little more specialization. At a small school like Sterling, you really have to rely on, you're going to have some specialization, but you're also going to have to rely on that entire student body to contribute to your programs. And so she would teach at school until 3:30 or whatever, work on her classroom stuff until 4:30, go home for a couple hours, and then come back after a lot of those kids who participated in theater and the other things that she supervised. They were in football, volleyball, basketball practice, whatever, and so she kind of had to mold her time around their time, and that made for a lot of evenings up at the school and Saturday mornings at debate tournaments and so she invested just a ton of time as any really good coach in Kansas does at any level.
Did I read right? 27 state championships in speech?
Yeah, in speech and forensics. Yeah, they rolled off that many, and then 7 in debate, and then I think that encapsulates over 100 kids in debate who were state medalists at Sterling, and over 340 who earned state medals in speech at Sterling. So just unfathomable numbers. We inducted Dave Hawley, the Wichita Collegiate tennis coach, into the Kansas State High School Activity Association Hall of Fame last year. And it's just kind of a similar thing, or a couple of years ago, similar thing. I mean, just the numbers when you get a coach with that longevity, it can put together some astonishing numbers, and then she was able to do that for sure. And it's kind of a legacy that lives on. Her successor, David Wilson, was a competitor under her. Actually, he's the one who nominated her for the KSHSAA Hall of Fame. So just the legacy kind of goes on, and it's continued since she's retired, so to speak. Like a lot of teachers and coaches, she's not totally away from it all. But her successor, Dave, has taken it and done wild things as well.
Do they have those 27 state titles and 7 in debate, just lining the halls there at Sterling High School?
Well, I'll tell you what, the trophy case leading into the Betsy Dutton Theater it's an impressive. You got the school office on the right, you've got the theater on the left, which the walkway into that theater is just lined with KSHSAA trophies and Jester Awards, which is the music theater of Wichita's honors for theater performance, and it's an impressive sight, no doubt about it.
I like it. Hey, Scott, appreciate the time.
Sounds good. Enjoy the rest of your summer, Cole.
That is Scott Paske with KSHSAA Covered. Again, their work at KSHSAAcovered.com. It's time now to bring in our next guest, and that is going to be Jamison Kohl. He's a recent graduate of Hesston High School and part of that track and field team for the Swathers, and is off to Northwest Oklahoma State as a university, as he'll be competing in track and field there. So continuing that athletic career, we'll get into that here in a little bit, but how has the summer been as a high school grad?
It's been busy. I always thought that once I got out of high school and I didn't have football weights and sports obligations, it would be easier, but turns out working a job full-time is a lot busier. And then I'm also training on my own, and that's sometimes harder, not having a team around me, but I'm adapting to it.
I've talked to a couple of these recent grads of, when they realize they're only focusing on one sport. You mentioned not doing football weights. Has that hit you mentally? You're not doing football in the fall?
Definitely. So it used to be I would split my year into 2. I'd have football in the summer and fall, and then track was winter and spring. This year, when track ended, I had 2 weeks off, and then I didn't go into football. I went straight back to track, and that's definitely been a change.
So the summer workouts for you, individually, what are you trying to work on as you get ready for college?
For me, it's all about my top speed. I'm working on accelerating as fast as I can, holding top end speed, and then also being on the shorter side. I need to be really strong, so spending a lot of time in the weight room.
For you at Hesston High School, what was it like just competing in that Swather program?
It was awesome. So I'm incredibly blessed to have come to Hesston. I moved here partway through my freshman year, and it really benefited me athletically. Our head coach, Shannon Ruertz, was amazing. He helped me develop as a sprinter. Coming into high school, I had never been a sprinter, and he helped me learn how to sprint and hurdle. I also had great people to train around on a daily basis. That helped a lot.
All right, so turning into a sprinter, what was it like just getting thrown into there, especially like you said, you weren't used to it initially. So what was it like just that learning curve?
Very, very different than when I was a cross-country runner in middle school. Had to teach my body completely new energy systems. I was doing different exercises, and the big thing was I was losing a lot at first. My freshman year, I was running in JV meets and not always winning. So it took a while to learn, but I think it was worth it.
Was there a turning point for you that you felt not only like maybe gaining confidence in it, but it's also just starting to get a pretty good feel for it?
Yeah, I would say so. I stopped playing basketball after my freshman year, and the winter before my sophomore track season, I completely committed to track for the first time ever. And it was the first time that I'd spent a lot of time sprinting and a lot of time hurdling. And something clicked right at the beginning of that year when I realized I could do it.
You mentioned, moving there, switching over there to Hesston, your freshman year. Was that a tough transition? What was it like just kind of adjusting to the new school?
Oh, it was a big change because my old school, I lived in Florida. I went to a school with about 2,000 kids. There were about 500 kids in my class. We were, I think, a 5A school there, but we would be 6A here, of course. So I came here and suddenly my school is 280 and my class was 70.
Like when you first arrived, were there any upperclassmen at Hesston that, you kind of looked up to? Like, I know, especially being a new school, maybe it was a little bit different, but was there anybody, like, especially early on at Hesston, that you were looking up to?
Yeah, Carter Gonzalez. Anybody who knows that name knows he was a huge asset to the Hesston football program. He actually is playing at Baker now. He doesn't do track anymore, but Carter was the person who really taught me how to work and taught me how to lead.
Was that just by kind of watching him, or did he kind of reach out from time to time as far as, giving advice?
Both. So I would watch him. I would watch the way he would talk. I would watch the way he would work, the way he prepared himself and took care of his body. And I also would have discussions with him.
Like for you, I mean, the hurdles, like when did you start with the hurdles?
I started hurdling like 2 days before my freshman season.
Okay.
So running distance in middle school, I had never been over a hurdle, but my dad was a hurdler in high school, so he recommended I try it. And so the week before track started, it's like, I learned how to hurdle. And
you figured it out.
Took a while, but yeah, eventually.
So what did your dad tell you? Any good advice from your dad?
Run fast and try not to fall.
That's really good advice. For you, like, what do you enjoy about the hurdles so much, especially either the 110 or the 300?
I definitely prefer the 300. I really didn't start to have any success in the 110s until later this year. What I love about the 300-meter hurdles is that I feel like especially when I was a little bit slower, I could compete with people who are more athletic than me because I could grit it out because it's a hard race. And eventually it's a race that takes a lot of time to learn the rhythm of. And so when I fully committed to it, I was able to have a lot of success. And I think that's what led to me loving it.
You talk about the rhythm of hurdles. Like, how important are those steps? And like, when did it, you kind of get, okay, yep, this is like my rhythm?
Yeah. So I am not a step counter in the 300. A lot of people are, but I use both my legs. So I never counted steps, but there definitely is a rhythm. And at the beginning of every year, it would be off. It's something that you kind of just get a feel for. And for some people, like I said, it's counting an exact amount of steps. For me, it's more just getting the feel of how far away am I? And that took a little bit of time at the beginning of every season.
Looking at some of your accomplishments at Hesston, with especially in the hurdles, with the CKL championships, like how exciting was that for you, especially, in your senior season?
That was really a big deal for me because going into my junior year, I was hoping to win a couple league championships and it just didn't fall my way that day. And so that was something that was on my mind through the off season. Then my senior year, we started out going into league. We knew we had a good chance to win as a team, but we needed every point we could get. So beginning of the meet, the 110s is my weaker event. I was only running them for the third time this season, like the fifth time overall in the last couple of years. And I went out and PR'd by a bunch and got the win. That was a great start. And then carried that momentum through the 300. It was definitely a good night. We ended up getting the win as a team, which was what was most important to me that night.
Talking with Jamison Kohl, a recent graduate of Hesston High School, and I saw online where he set the school record in the 300 hurdles as well with a 38.78. I got to imagine, like, as a a student athlete, trying to leave your mark on a school, and hopefully it lasts for a long time. But that's got to be a pretty cool feeling just to have a school record.
Yes, it was. To me, the biggest thing was like I moved here a few years ago and nobody knew me. I was nobody and nothing. And I wasn't a very good athlete. So it was pretty cool to be able to pave out my way, and a lot of time went into breaking that record.
Going forward now, as you get set for college, what went into your decision process in choosing Northwest Oklahoma State University?
I visited a lot of schools, talked to a lot of coaches. There were a lot of factors. I had to look at academics. I had to look at finances. I had to look at how I would fit into the team. But in the end, Coach Broomfield at Northwestern Oklahoma State did a lot for me, getting me the right scholarships and making sure that I would be able to develop as an athlete. And that really felt like home.
Like, did he give you any preparation tips, I guess, going into your freshman year?
I've been told it's hard and it is a long season. So that's something I need to be ready for.
Very much so. Hey, Jamison, appreciate the time. Congrats on a great career at Hesston and best of luck going forward.
Yeah, thank you so much.
That is Jamison Kohl, the recent graduate of Hesston High School. We'll have more of the show right after this. Here's a hard truth. If your business isn't using AI in its marketing, you've already fallen behind. But there's an advertising agency in Kansas that can get you back up to speed. That agency's name is Meyers Enterprises Media Research. The name sounds dry because the company's run by engineers, not salespeople. They use superior research and analytics that drive results with surgical precision. Marketing doesn't have to be a gritty battle in the trenches. Your business can win from the box. Visit their website, mediaresearch.agency, to learn more. Continuing on here on Kansas Sports Chatter as we welcome our next guest to the show, and that's going to be Jason Duvall, the recently announced new head coach for the Larned High School football team. Hey, Coach, appreciate your time. How's the summer been for you and the family?
Oh, thank you, Cole, for having me on. Everything's been great. Obviously been busy from the get-go, getting back into the coaching scene, so the summer became a little more busier, with weights and everything. So it's been going well.
Yeah, congratulations on the job at Larned. How excited were you to take the position?
Thank you. I appreciate that. Pretty excited. Really excited to get back into the coaching after having a few years off being the AD over at the middle school there in Great Bend. Just really wanted to get back in, and I felt like getting back into the coaching, easier to relate with the kids a little bit more. I really enjoyed what I was doing, but I felt like I wanted to get back into it and try to influence the kids a little bit more on a personal basis through the coaching aspect again.
Well, I always feel like, like coaches, I mean, it's just in your blood, right? Like, could you feel that, right away that you kind of wanted to eventually find a position to, to get back into coaching?
I did. As soon as I heard that it came open, I had some people say something about it to me, and I had already kind of knew it came open, and I sat down with my wife and we kind of just sat around and talked about it a little bit and what her thoughts were and what my thoughts were, and just what a good opportunity that could be. So we just decided that's what we would do, and I would apply for that, and obviously had a good ending to it. So,
I think when school districts and schools and they're going out and hiring, they're checking on, coaches, that kind of fit their system and, are going to be a good fit. Like, do you as a coach, do you kind of being from the area, you had a good idea what Larned was, but do you kind of scout out, okay, what's that school district like? What's that job look like?
Well, being in the area for a long time and really early on in the coaching here at Great Bend, I was able to play against Larned, so I kind of knew about them a little bit. I know some coaches over there already, and so I knew a little bit about what was going on over there. And again, just thought it would be a good fit to get in and help these kids and try to get some things turned around and just get them on the right track and have some great success and do what we can to make them work hard.
What's it like when you're first introducing yourself to the players and to the team? Like, what do you try to get across?
Just the way it's going to be. Obviously it's a new coach coming in. There's going to be some new things. The old things are gone, so we're going to have to adapt and get used to some of the things that I expect from you, and what they can expect from me as a coach. Just getting that point across, and I really think our kids have done a great job in accepting me, and I've accepted them, and they've been working pretty hard this summer. We have a smaller group, but they've been doing a really good job. They're consistent. They're there. They're doing everything that I ask them to do. The coaches are doing everything that I've asked them to do. So I feel like we're building pretty good relationships.
Anything specific as far as those expectations? Like when you go into a team, like what are some of the expectations that you want?
Well, first of all, I just want them to work hard. I want them to love the game of football, and that's what we're trying to promote and get into their minds, change their mindsets about what we want to accomplish. We're not going to go out and win 10 games or whatever. We're going to go out and play hard and things like that. But I want other teams to know that, hey, we got Larned this week. We need to prepare. I don't want them to think that we're some kind of pushover or anything like that. But so our kids are going to get on the field. They're going to play hard. They're going to execute well. And teams are going to know that they played us at the end of Friday night.
Implementing your system, we'll just say offensively, like how big of an adaptation is that for those guys and just trying to learn a new system?
For these guys over there, not too bad. They ran a little bit of the spread last couple years, but as far as stuff off the spread, the zone, things like that, is a little bit new. Just working the mesh, working the reads. We're kind of a short, quick passing game on our spread stuff. We're not trying to go deep every time. We're going to work it down the field. It's the old system that I've been around for the last 20 years of coaching. So I felt it's pretty successful back then. I still feel it's very successful now, and we have a good group of kids that I think can execute those situations.
Following Larned over the years, like I've always felt like Larned always had athletes. I mean, like they continue to have athletes, whether it's on the line or even as skill players. Like I just felt like, sometimes it didn't shake out the way they wanted, but like they always had really good athletes.
It's funny you say that. We were just talking about that and how Larned was back in the mid 2000s and even on through, and even as of recent, of having some good success. And the kids are here. The kids are working hard. They just need some guidance, I guess. But there are some really good athletes here. I just, like last year when I was watching them through basketball, through track, things like that. After I started to be interested in getting the job and then getting the job, I started watching them more, and there's some really good athletes over there that have done a really good job in their programs.
When you talk about a good time too, like they recently, with the last few years with the new turf and then the new lighting there, so and then the facilities are getting upgraded. Like I feel like it's a pretty good time to be in Larned.
I tell you what, the facilities are top notch. The field is beautiful. What a nice stadium. They actually redone one of the buildings there for a locker room, and walk in, and it's top notch too. Beautiful lockers, nice and spacious. So they are definitely working on those programs. They just redid or finishing up the gym. They put a lot of money into the gym and redid it for basketball. So they've got a lot going on over there. They're wanting to be successful. Like I said, there are some really good programs that are successful there. We want to be on a consistent basis with all our programs. And the community is very supportive and has been to this point. So we're looking forward to working with them too.
Talk with Jason Duvall, new head coach of the Larned football team. Dealing with kids and working with kids at the middle school level and then the high school level. I know there's some physical differences, but like, what are some of those other differences just as far as like what you're trying to get across from kids that are in junior high compared to high school?
Just, when they're getting into high school, you're expecting them to become, as they grow, responsibilities, becoming more of an adult individual, and understanding what we're asking, and wanting to learn more, in my opinion, and do the little things right. So that's what we're trying to stress with them, to where they can carry that on a little bit more themselves and be more responsible in learning what we're asking them to do. Maybe do it on their off time when they're out, things like that. So the maturity level, obviously, is what we're looking for and growing in that situation.
We talked a little bit about your offensive style. Like, has that always been the case? Is like, when did that style start for you? Was that from previous coaches that you had, or did you kind of develop your own system?
Well, that's our system from when I came with Coach Black. We ran some spread down there in Texas, and when we came here to Great Bend in 2000, that's what we implemented. Just you kind of work with it a little bit. Depends on kind of what athletes you have, or what kind of positions you can have. So if you have a really good tight end, a really good fullback, you can really get into that I-back formation and really power the ball a little bit. So that's kind of what we look at. But if not, if you got some really good skill kids with good hands, spread it out, throw it around, and have some fun with it. And that's what we did. And that's what I've kind of been around all this time. I implemented that back in at Ellenwood also when I came back and coached over there. We were pretty successful over there. So it's just something, and it's fun. The kids love it. There's so much you can do out of it. So we just really go with it and enjoy it.
And I always feel like, football is football, especially at the high school level. But, you mentioned like coaching in Texas. What was that experience like? And just how different is it compared to coaching in Kansas?
Well, the numbers are so much bigger down there. You have, 100 kids on a team or 115 kids on a team. And I know there are some schools here that do that. But football is just that's what they always say. It's king down there. Everyone plays it, and then after that they all go to their quote secondary sports. But football is such a great aspect of growing a young man in that aspect. So there's so many benefits to it, and it carries on into their other sports as far as athletes are concerned. So it's a little different, but we feel like we try to bring that to our kids that we're coaching here. I've talked to them about that, the things that I've done down in Texas that I carry on, that I learned when I was playing football. And I said, it's why I do the things that I'm asking you to do, because that's inbred in me, and that's what I'm asking of you. So I'm trying to bring a little bit of that with us.
You brought up Bo Black. What was that like? What kind of guy was he? And just what'd you learn from Bo?
Bo was just a beautiful mind, you might want to say, in the football area. He had such insights on things and how to plan, and just a smart individual and a great person. Really enjoyed working with him when he asked me to come over with him there in Texas. So we had a great relationship from the start, and it was just really great to be under him and learning, and him letting us coach. That's the big thing. As a head coach, he gave us our responsibilities, and obviously if you didn't do those, we would have a chat. But he believed in his coaching staff and his players, and that we would get them ready. And so I've just kind of taken some of that on with my coaches. Say, hey, this is what I need from you guys when we come together, and this, that. They've done a great job so far, so yeah, just was a great experience to work with Bo, and I always remember those. And like I said, he's a great friend of mine, and so.
Hey, Coach, appreciate the time. Best of luck this season.
Well, I appreciate that very much. We're looking forward to it. Thanks for the call.
Yeah, you bet. And that's Jason Duvall, head coach of the Larned football team. We'll have more of the show right after this. Are you looking for a new way to promote your business or organization? Do you want to get your message out to a statewide audience that loves high school sports in both urban and rural areas? Kansas Sports Chatter has advertising opportunities from commercials, sponsoring specific guests, product placements, and even a premier sponsorship. Let Kansas Sports Chatter promote your brand. Contact ksportschatter@gmail.com for more advertising details. That's ksportschatter@gmail.com. Come join the chatter. Welcome back on the show. It is time to talk some basketball right now, as we have half of the Toto and the Oz from the Sunflower Smack Show. Toto joining us here. They've been highlighting high school basketball for girls in the state of Kansas, especially in that Kansas City area, for how many years now, Toto?
We'll be starting year 9.
Year 9. Okay. Again, for those that missed the last interview you guys came on, like, run through everything that you provide. Like, it's been fun just watching, even during the summer, seeing the interviews coming out and just checking up on some of those girls throughout the summer.
Yeah, our main thing has always been to bring focus to girls basketball and starting the Kansas side or in the Kansas City area, but mostly we've stretched out throughout the years throughout the state of Kansas. Focused really, on Instagram, on our podcasts are on SoundCloud and Spotify, and we do interviews with individual players. Just kind of get to know you. We'll do some Where Are They Nows. We've been around long enough to do some of that. And then during the season, we spend a lot more focus on gameplay and just kind of what we're seeing and those types of things. So it's a lot of fun for us, and it's been a great ride so far.
The summertime for you in following girls basketball, like what's it like just even, either going to camps or seeing some of those summer leagues? So what is it like there in the KC area?
Yeah, so I've got a son who goes to school at Pitt State, and he helps me out. That's a big camp around here. A lot of kids go down to Pitt State camp, team camp, and so he'll do a lot of pictures for me and those types of things with players and some video stuff for me. I help out with the Shot Clock Showdown that's held at Mill Valley each year. That Coach Runyon over there does a great job. We had like 25 or 30 teams come in for that. It used to be the shot clock was kind of practice, and now it's kind of in full swing. And so I do a little bit of that. I'll go to some of our there's weekly summer league games at Shawnee Mission Northwest High School here that a lot of teams participate in. I'll go watch a little bit of that just to see some players come in, how everybody's doing, just kind of seeing kind of how things are going. I miss some of them, certain times. And
sure.
And so that's kind of, and then, July, the Oz is always on the road. He coaches in the AAU world. So he's always feeding me in players and things like that are good to see. But he is also coaching. So we stay busy enough.
Staying very, very busy. All right, before we go into like returning talent for this upcoming year, like this is our very early look, the upcoming 2026-27 season. Yeah. That last senior class, and every year there's, special talent, but I felt like it was such balance because you had like standout athletes in the smaller classifications, and then you had them all the way up to 6A as well. I just felt like that was a really talented senior class.
It really was. I mean, you really just take into consideration a player like Asia Lee that didn't make the top class team, but she's going to play at Florida State. Yeah. I mean, perfect example. That senior class was so strong, and really the basketball talent in Kansas in general. But it really was just a great group of kids. And this year's senior class coming in is pretty strong too. You've got a person like Eve Long.
Yeah.
A national talent that's going to lead that crew in. But yeah, last year was so impressive. And we saw a lot of the best players show themselves at the state tournament at all classes too. It was fun to see.
All right. You mentioned Eve, and you talk about, you got to start there. I feel like for this upcoming senior class, what stands out about her that makes her so special?
Yeah. Well, when I visited with Eve, when I heard about her coming in her freshman year, a lot of people around here had seen her, but she is a very kind soul, I would say. If you visit with her, you put her on the court and she maintains her composure pretty well. I feel like, I think that's one of the things about her. She got beat up a lot of games last year. I mean, physically teams would just beat her around. She can go outside, she can go inside. She's just really impressive to watch play. And if you know her a little bit about how kind she is, it makes you that much easier to really cheer for her too.
Other returning talent for this upcoming season that we should kind of keep our fingers on?
Well, another kid that's going to come up in the national level talks as she gets older, just finished her freshman year at Blue Valley North, Harper Winter. Again, Blue Valley North going to be a sophomore. She is going to be one of the kids that is going to be one to watch kind of coming up, getting a lot of national attention from that standpoint. You got a really good, that freshman class of last year was really good. I mean, there were some good players. Jenna Schmeiler out at Hayes is going to be a junior this year. She's a kid that I think, Bella Bedara, who's a senior at Andover, Zoe Buckner Franklin at Capon, another kid that's going to be a senior this year that are really fun players to watch. Shy Rayton. Shy is the short name for her first name, but she plays at Topeka High, a player that a lot of people probably haven't seen yet, but she and Eve are probably two of the best players in 6A this year. So I think it'll be fun to see some of these players. Haley Schmidt-Line over at Hayden had a great year last year. She'll be a one to watch in the junior class in 4A. So just some great players.
I enjoyed on your social media, you guys had, I think it was like teams across the state send in like informal like intros to your show, or I don't, you can explain it, but which one was your favorite? Because like they did like a whole routine, like it was like a whole production.
Man, I tell you, it was a lot of fun. We kind of had this idea. A couple girls, Brooke Stephen and Avery McQuarrie, who were at Bishop Carroll, did a little marketing video for us kind of early fall just for fun, and they did an amazing job, and we thanked them and all that. Well, we got the idea at Christmas time to maybe have a New Year's or Happy Holidays contest and send out to a few of the coaches, a few players that I knew, said, hey, why don't you guys try to compete in this? And so we did a little contest, if you will, and gave them some little fun prizes for participating. But Mill Valley put in a whole production. I mean, they were by far the most planned, if you will, and was really impressive. It was fun to watch the shooting by Olathe West, and they put together a little to the sounds of the Christmas bells, kind of the NBA deal. There were a lot of really fun ones. Jenna Schmeiler, she did that one with all the little kids around her that were celebrating her, which was kind of cool. It was fun to see who, all the teams that kind of jumped in and took place. And it was good. It was fun.
All right. Keep up the entertainment. Enjoy the rest of your summer.
We're going to try. Thank you for all you do. And, if there's anybody, that you want, anything that anybody wants to see or wants to know about in girls basketball, let us know. We love doing the shows, and a lot of the, content is driven by what people want to see. So let us know.
Yep. Best coverage in the state in girls basketball. Check out the Sunflower Smack Show, half of them with Toto and the Oz joining us here on Kansas Sports Chatter. We'll have more of the program right after this. Are you a person that's always on the go? You can still easily keep up with Kansas Sports Chatter with the audio podcast. Hear each episode on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Make sure to follow the Kansas Sports Chatter podcast. It's so hot, chickens are laying hard-boiled eggs. That's the best one I got. That's the best It's So Hot joke. Man, it is hot. But like I said, there's levels to complaining. We're inside, so we're going to leave the complaints at that. More of our sponsors today, Meyers Enterprises. Bring your business into the 21st century. Stand out from the noise. Grow your business. Schedule a free consultation. And Eastis Media. Cody's revealing some great stuff to talk about the Greenback Vaults. He's got the new innovation, if you will, to Pratt coverage. So the voice of the Pratt High Greenbacks, and excellent stuff. Check them out on YouTube with Eastis Media. You want one more? So it's so hot jokes. It's so hot. Cows are giving evaporated milk. It's like dad jokes for the summer. Hey, hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, hit the subscribe button on YouTube to the Kansas Sports Chatter YouTube channel, and we'll be back at it with episodes every Tuesday and Thursday. Thanks, everybody.